Shalom, call all Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, and Shalom to the elect. Now I'm going to make a quick video talking about what's going on over there in the land of Israel. They got these videos that's been popping up recently on Al Jazeera and RT News, and it's talking about the settlements that the Amalekites got over there. And they saying they illegal, then 1 minute, then they want to say they legal. So I'm going to go into this one scripture, and I'm going to let this video play. It's in the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 25. It says, and if a house be divided against itself, the house cannot stand. And that's what you're seeing right now. That's why you got all this turmoil popping up. And ultimately, these Amalekites, they're going to use the military of the U.S. to pop off this war. Like we read this one scripture, it says, the least of the flock should draw them out. That's exactly what's going to happen. So, with all this turmoil going on over there, eventually, it's going to escalate. They're going to have their little peace talks and all the other little bullshit. And it ain't going to really be no peace. Because these Palestinians, they think that's their land too. As well as the Amalekites, they think that's their land. But, hey, I'm going to get into some more scriptures and I'll show who land it really is.
Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Imran Khan. It's a dramatic shift in US policy and goes against the position taken by international organizations and most other countries. The US says it no longer views the illegal Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank as inconsistent with international law. The Palestinians are furious, and many observers say it makes Israeli-Palestinian peace process even more elusive. It's the latest U-turn on policy by the US president in favor of Israel. Trump recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital and moved the American embassy there. He also recognized Israel's annexation of the Golan Heights from Syria. Let's hear what Secretary of State Mike Pompeo had to say.
Calling the establishment of civilian settlements inconsistent with international law hasn't worked. It hasn't advanced the cause of peace. The hard truth is, there will never be a...
Hey, and that word, you keep hearing them say that word, that peace word. Now you're going to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Now, recently you had this little peace talk and the ceasefire, which they broke the ceasefire recently. And eventually, them Persians, which are also known as Iranians, they're going to escalate this stuff even more because they know those Amalekites over there. They know that's not the people of that land. And they know they cause a lot of the problems I should say, is going on around the world. So they're trying to do what they do. And ultimately, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua put the spirit on them to do what they do at the same time. So hey, this stuff getting more intense, man. You can't make none of this stuff up. And they literally saying the words right out of the scriptures. He probably wanted to say something else. But what he's saying, let me run it back.
Calling the establishment of civilian settlements inconsistent with international law hasn't worked. It hasn't advanced the cause of peace. The hard truth is, there will never be a judicial resolution to the conflict, and arguments about who is right and wrong as a matter of international law will not bring peace. This is a complex political problem that can only be solved by negotiations between the Israeli...
And the scriptures say that once we back in our land, ain't gonna be no more war. Ain't gonna be none of that stuff going on. So that's another cut to these Amalekites and these other so-called scholars and rabbis that talk about those are people of that land. Because if it was the actual people of that land, that prophecy would have been fulfilled. And there wouldn't be no wars going on. There wouldn't be no missiles being shot over there. Well, none of that be happening. The gates will be over continually. They got borders that's closed off. But let me go to that real quick. I'm gonna pull this up. Now, when you look at this, I'm gonna make sure I type it in and read someone for this shit because they got more stuff they don't add it over there. This is what you got going on over there. But these supposed to be the people though, right? Let me go back to it. Alright, so you see that picture. There's more of them too. Now, when you read the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 11, it says, let me scroll down to the right part. It says, therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. Hey, this ain't none of this happening right now. They got protests and shit going on. Big ass gates. The IDF patrolling, which IDF is Israel Defense Force. So hey, it's evident, man, and a lot of these other people in these countries, they know this stuff too, cause they watch videos too. They be seeing what's going on. They watch all the elders and the teachers bringing out this stuff, so they see what's happening, and they see prophecy being fulfilled. That's why a lot of these videos they have titles like Armageddon, and more videos being brought out about Esau, these Edomites. So they know what's up, man. You can't get around this shit. And this an Edomite right here too, just for reference.
And the Palestinians.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the decision rights a historical wrong.
People of Israel, this is a historic day and another great achievement to our policy. After President Trump recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, recognized our sovereignty over the Golan Heights, the US administration has now put an end to the lie that settlements are illegal.
Palestinian chief negotiator Saeb Erekat said the decision was a threat to global security and peace.
Israeli colonial settlements in the occupied Palestinian territories, including East Jerusalem, are not only illegal under international law, they are war crimes. And the statement of Mr. Pompeo, the Secretary of State of the United States, is absolutely rejected and must be condemned because once superpowers, once the Trump administration decide to undermine international law, once they become an administration that's pro-Israel's occupation, pro-Israel war crimes, this is constitute a major threat to international peace and security. And this is
that peace word again.
Turning the international community from the rules of international law, the rules of solving conflict by peaceful means, into the rules of the jungle.
We'll bring in our guests shortly, but first, Harry Fawcett reports from West Jerusalem.
Well, Benjamin Netanyahu wasted no time in welcoming this announcement from the US administration, saying it righted a historic wrong. The Palestinian leadership wasted no time in utterly rejecting it, saying it was more evidence that the US had lost its legitimacy as an honest broker between the Israelis and the Palestinians. In terms of what it changes on the ground, in one sense, potentially not that much. It very much aligns with US policy under Trump in terms of recognizing Jerusalem, moving the embassy here to Jerusalem, cutting Palestinian aid.
A bunch of Amalekites have
In
done.
terms of settlement construction, that has been going on apace as well. Just last month, there was the announcement of 2,300 new approvals for housing units in the occupied West Bank. That happens every few months and has been ever since Trump took office. It does do a couple of things, though. It allows the Israelis to point to a divergence in international opinion on the legality of settlement activity inside the occupied West Bank, where previously there had been a pretty blanket appraisal of that as illegal activity. It also potentially emboldens Netanyahu in the future if he wants to exert more Israeli authority in the occupied West Bank, more Israeli sovereignty. He said before the last election that he intended to annex the entirety of the Jordan Valley and that he needed a mandate from the Israeli people to do so, to seek and get US approval for such a measure. In terms of the motivations for it, well, obviously it helps Trump politically, especially with his evangelical base, and it helps Netanyahu at a very sensitive time.
And see, and another thing, even I'm glad he said the word evangelical. The evangelicals, they not doing no real research, because if they was, they know they full of shit. but they're not doing the real research and seeing who is who. But hey, it's all gonna come out in all due time.
Here, politically, Pompeo said that it wasn't designed, the timing so to do, but nonetheless, Benny Gantz, Netanyahu's main rival, is running out of time to try to form a coalition government of his own. This is a big victory for Netanyahu domestically. Gantz himself has approved of this statement, and it allows Netanyahu to drive a wedge between Gantz and the Palestinian-Israeli politicians in the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, on whom he might have to rely if he wanted to make a minority government before his time runs out. So whatever the motivation behind it, Netanyahu can certainly make big political capital out of it at a very important time. Harry Fawcett for Inside Story, West Jerusalem.
Israeli settlements have long been a very contentious issue. They were established by Israel on land occupied during the Six-Day War in 1967. More than 600,000 Israelis currently live in settlements in the occupied West Bank and occupied East Jerusalem. They're considered illegal under international law as they violate the Fourth Geneva Convention, which prohibits an occupying power from transferring its population to the area that it occupies.
And see, hey, let me run that back, man. And the reason why they're illegal, because that's not their fucking land, that's why.
It's an occupying power from transferring its population to the area that it occupies. In 1978, US President Jimmy Carter concluded that building Israeli settlements was inconsistent with international law. Almost 4 years later, President Ronald Reagan disagreed. And more recently, President Barack Obama broke with the US practice by not vetoing a UN resolution urging an end to illegal Israeli settlements. For more on this, I'm joined by our guests. In Tel Aviv, Gideon Levy.
All right, that's enough of that. I don't want to hear these damn devils go in on that. No, I'm going to end this off of these last two scriptures, and that'll be it. Let me see. It's in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 20. It says, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he hath taken against Edom." And who is Edom? Run this back. Slide this back over real quick. These are what you consider Edomites. From the house of Amalek. But ultimately they go back to Edom. Now, it says, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes they have proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them." And these guys right here, and the military and all this other stuff that's going on right here, that's going to help kick off this war, this third world war. Like the scripture say, "Behold, the third war coming quickly, and the first and the second war will pass." Roughly paraphrasing, even though I say that in reverse. But hey, it's in the scriptures, man. You can't make this up. Now I'm going to end this off with this. But yeah, I got a few more things I want to say after this, but I'm going to just go into this. Now, this in the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 9. It says, "I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not. They say they are Jews and they are not." It says, "But are the synagogue of Satan." Now, who else doing this stuff? Who else doing this satanic shit? Drinking blood and circumcising babies with their mouth and harvesting organs and all this other shit. Who else doing that, man? If you can't see it, man, you definitely blinded. Now, before I end this off, this for them Edomites, them Amalekites, because you know they be watching these videos and monitoring shit, taking channels down and all type of little silly shit. That just goes to show that somebody telling the truth. Once they start taking stuff down. Now, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Shalak, Wayam, Gwa, Washapayim, Gwa, Barakim, Yahweh Shah, Gwa, Kwam, Halapanya, the water, Baba Kasha, and Ababa Ball on these damn Edomites that's running this world right now. Because that's who's running the world. Like the scripture say in the book of Job, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. Who else running the world right now? Shalom.